searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's the simple things in life, like learning all again. It's the simple things in life, like finding where it all again. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Now we going back, breathing on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down.
Shalom, we are back. Shalom, Israel, shalom. Yeah. We are back. It's been a while. It's been about, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Been away for a while. Happy Passover to those of y'all. Happy Passover. If you observed it, all praise to the Most High. Just came back. All right, let's begin. I'm trying to get to the Dark Ages. I'm trying to get through it. It's a very, very extensive lesson. It's a very, very time-consuming and tiring lesson to put together because there's not much history. Well, I'm gonna say it's not much history, but it's a bit difficult. But we're gonna go through it together. And we left off last time 2 weeks ago. We left off with the history of the Jews in Spain. We left off with them wanting to stay in Spain because it was prophesied by Daniel that Israel, the temple, will be destroyed a second time. So what's the point of us going to returning to Jerusalem just to see the temple be destroyed a second time? We're gonna stay right here in Spain. Babylon destroyed the first time. Babylon was the first destroyer of the first temple. So they said, why should we sit around and see the second one destroyed? We can stay in Spain and not see that and not see it. So let's go to Daniel 9:24. We can read about what they were talking about and what they were referring to as to why they chose to not return to Jerusalem, but rather stay in Spain because they knew, according to prophecy, that the second temple will be destroyed.
Dang, Deke, we forgot.
What?
You are now tuned into.
Oh, man. I'm tired. You are now tuned into
Our Hidden History radio show.
Damn, thank you.
Y'all praise.
Thank you, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
Forgot.
Daniel 9:24.
Yeah, Daniel 9 and 24.
Sir. The book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy.
Read again.
Verse 24, 70 weeks.
So he's talking about 70 weeks. These weeks are going into years, 70 weeks. All right, read on.
Are determined upon thy people.
Are determined upon the people of Israel. Come on.
And upon thy holy city.
Upon the city. Come on.
To finish the transgression.
To complete the transgression or the prophecies that Moses spoke about regarding us being removed out of the land and scattered into all nations. That's according to the curses. That's the transgression that's to be finished. Go ahead.
And to make an end of sins.
To make an end of sins, because Christ would die. Go on.
And to make reconciliation for iniquity.
To make reconciliation for iniquity, going into Christ dying on the cross and reconciling us back to his Father. Come on.
And to bring in everlasting righteousness. And to seal up the vision and prophecy. And to anoint the most holy.
That's going into Christ dying again. So now read on verse 25. So the point of 24 is to focus on the 70 weeks. The 70 weeks. 70 weeks. Okay, read on.
Verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince.
Now, the going forth to restore and rebuild Jerusalem, most scholars point to the time of the Nehemiah's time. They start from there. They start from Nehemiah and Ezra's time to restore and to rebuild Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Shall be 7 weeks.
No, read from the top.
Now, therefore, and understand.
Know therefore
and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince.
Unto the Messiah the Prince. Okay, so the restore and build here is going into Ezra and Nehemiah's time. I'll explain why. Ezra and Nehemiah. Well, it goes into Cyrus, but most scholars will say it's going into based upon the time it's giving here. It's 70 weeks. They counted from Ezra and Nehemiah's time. Remember, prove how that is. Read on.
Unto the Messiah the Prince.
Until the time of the Messiah. Okay, so from the time of this restoration period unto the Messiah the Prince, go ahead.
Shall be 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
And 62 weeks.
7 weeks, 62 weeks. So 7 weeks, 62 weeks. So 62 is 62 plus 7. That's 69 weeks. 69 weeks. Remember, it mentioned 70 weeks. So 62 plus 7 is 69 weeks. The prophecy of Daniel 9:25 exactly is 483 years. 483 years. And when you count another week, that gives you 490 years in total. All right, read on.
The street shall be built again.
The street shall be built again. Come on.
And the wall, even in troublous times.
That's how we know it's Ezra and Nehemiah's time. The street and the walls. Because Nehemiah and Ezra's time, they reinforced the walls. Even during troublous times, because Ezra and Nehemiah, they faced troublous times when restoring the walls and building and so forth. Read on.
And after 62 weeks.
After the 62 weeks, come on.
Shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself.
So after 62 weeks, the Messiah will be killed. He will be killed. But after 62 weeks, the Messiah will be killed. Remember, 62 weeks, and it mentions 7 weeks after that. So the 62 weeks, he'd be killed within that time. Okay, he'd be killed within that time. Read on. Within the 400 years. Go ahead.
But not for himself.
He will not die for himself. Go ahead.
And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary.
That's going into Rome. The time of the Messiah was Rome. He would be around the time of Rome. They would destroy the sanctuary and the city. This is not talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. That does not make any sense for you anti-Christ, Yah, Israelites. This is about Antiochus. No, it's not. The time does not make sense. If you count from the time of Artaxerxes or during Ezra and Nehemiah's time, they say that this Messiah here is referring to Onias the priest. Doesn't add up. Doesn't add up at all. Doesn't fit. Read on.
And the end thereof shall be with the flood.
The flood is war. Go ahead.
And unto the end of the war.
That's saying the war is the flood. The war or the flood is the same thing. A flood of military, a flood of armies is the flood. Go ahead.
Desolations are determined.
Desolations after the war, the Jewish-Roman war, are determined. Desolations of us being removed out of our land and scattered into all four corners of the earth, that is determined. Going back to the transgression being finished in verse 24. Go ahead.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
Meaning so the 1 week is the week after the 60 and 9 weeks. Rome will make a covenant with Israel or be a peace with Israel within that week. So remember, it says 62 and 7 weeks. That's 3 score in 2 weeks is 69. 62 in 2 weeks is 62 plus 7 is 69 weeks. Now this is the extra week giving you 70 weeks. Within this last week, okay, remember 62 weeks plus 7 weeks is 483 years. Then it says another week that gives you 490. So within that time frame of 483 to 490, that's the week he's talking about. Go ahead.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
Rome, go ahead.
And in the midst of the week.
In the midst of that week, that gives you from 66 AD to 73 AD. That's the Jewish-Roman war it's talking about. Within that time frame. Go ahead.
He shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease.
Rome would attack us and cut off our food and water supply during the Jewish-Roman war, which lasted 7 years. So between 66 AD, that's the middle of the week. Remember, you have 60 AD, and you have 66. That's the middle of the week. So from 66 AD to 73 AD, that's midweek to the end of the week. 66 to 73 AD, that's 7 days, 7 years. Once that's over, once that war took place, it was a wrap. The Jewish state was destroyed within that week. Read on. But the Messiah was killed before that week. He was killed within the 60 and 2 weeks, the 400 years. Read on.
And for the overspreading of abominations.
Then after they destroyed the temple the second time, that's why the Jews chose to remain in Spain. They said, why should we return to Jerusalem and see the prophecy of Daniel be fulfilled of the temple being destroyed the second time? We're going to stay in Spain. So it says, for the what? Over what?
For the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate.
Because they destroyed the second temple. Rome destroyed the second temple under Vespasian and Titus, and they built a pagan capital over it called Aelia Capitolina.
Damn.
Aelia Capitolina. A pagan temple on top of what was once the temple that stood. And then after that, when Rome was destroyed and conquered, the Arabs came along and built the Temple Mount on top of that. Okay? Aelia Capitolina. Let's read that.
Aelia Capitolina was a Roman colony founded during the Roman Emperor Hadrian's visit to Judea in 129-130 CE. It was founded on the ruins of Jerusalem.
Founded on what?
The ruins of Jerusalem.
Because they destroyed it. Read on, watch.
Which had been almost totally razed after the siege of 70 CE.
Totally what?
Totally razed after the siege of 70 CE.
70 AD. Hold that. Give me Psalms 137. This happened twice. After it had been almost totally razed after the siege of 70 CE or AD. Because the first temple, they destroyed it the first time. The Babylon came and destroyed the temple the first time, but Edom came behind them and helped. And they destroyed Rome. Edom came and destroyed the temple, helping the Babylonians. Read that.
Psalms chapter 137 and verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom.
Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom when Babylon came against us. Go ahead.
In the day of Jerusalem.
In the day when Babylon attacked Jerusalem, the first Temple Mount. Go ahead.
Who said, race it, Raise it.
Who said what to Babylon?
Raise it. Raise it.
Raise it, raise it. Go ahead.
Even to the foundation thereof.
So nothing's left standing. Then Esau came about later on as the Romans and did the exact same thing in 70 AD that Babylon did. Read on.
O daughter of Babylon.
So God calls Edom the daughter of Babylon because what Babylon did, Edom did the exact same thing as the Romans. And when Rome eventually extended into America, America is the new Babylon that John saw in Revelation. Okay? So Edom is the daughter of Babylon. Okay? So let's go back to what it said earlier. It was founded on the what now? Aelia Capitolina?
Aelia Capitolina was a Roman colony founded during the Roman Emperor Hadrian's visit to Judea in 129-130 CE. It was founded on the ruins of Jerusalem, which had been almost totally razed after the siege of 70.
Raise it, that second time. Come on.
This act marked a significant transformation of the city from a Jewish metropolis to a small pagan settlement dedicated to the cult of Capitoline Jupiter.
To a small pagan settlement dedicated to the cult of Capitoline Jupiter. So they built a pagan settlement on top of the ruins. I'm going to show you. Read the next paragraph.
The population of Aelia Capitolina consisted primarily of Roman legionaries, veterans, and other non-Jewish settlers.
Because, remember, it says desolate. They cleaned out Jerusalem and removed most of the inhabitants out of the land, and heathens moved in. Like today, the Israelis and Palestinians, nothing new under the sun. Time is not linear. Time loops. Okay, it's not linear. It loops. Read on.
Jews were forbidden entrance to the city.
We were forbidden. That's why it says desolate. I mentioned earlier, desolations are determined. Read on.
The city's urban layout was redesigned with broad colonnaded streets, arched gateways, and forms that served as commercial and social hubs. The religious landscape also shifted.
Watch.
With the worship of Roman deities.
Jupiter, which is Zeus, come on.
Replacing the Jewish religious practices.
Watch.
That had been centered around the temple in Jerusalem.
Right. That's where they built. That's where they built it. Go down to the name. Let me see if I should say it. Read right there. Aelia
came from Hadrian's Aelia gens.
Aelia, ain't that the name of Julius Caesar too? Gens?
Right. That's that family line.
That's that family Edomite line that conquered Japheth.
Yep.
The gens. The Edomites are the gens family. That's who conquered Japheth and took over Rome.
Yep.
The gens. That's Julius Caesar. Hadrian comes from that line. Or most of them do.
Yeah, most.
Okay, read on.
While Capitolina meant that the new city was dedicated to Jupiter Capitolinus.
Julia Capitolinus. Go ahead.
Whom the Romans believed had vanquished and replaced the God of the Jews.
See that? Who had vanquished and replaced the God of the Jews by building a temple to Jupiter on top of the temple ruins. The overspreading of abominations. They did the exact same thing that the Greeks did. The exact same thing in honor of the exact same God. All right? Now, read on.
A temple to Jupiter was built in the city. The Latin name Aelia is the source of the much later term
Ilia.
a 7th century early Arab name for Jerusalem.
So they built this capital right on top of where the temple of Jerusalem once stood, and that the God of the Romans replaced the God of the Jews. Now, give me 2 Maccabees 6. The Romans and Greeks are the same people that conquered the same exact city and did the exact same thing. 2 Maccabees 6:1. You cannot make this up.
2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers.
Come on.
And not to live after the laws of God. And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem.
To pollute the temple in Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus.
The temple of what?
Jupiter Olympus.
Now, Jupiter Olympus, the Greeks didn't call their god Jupiter. It was Zeus. Okay, the Romans called Zeus Jupiter. The Greeks called Jupiter. No, the Greeks called Jupiter. No, the Romans called Zeus Jupiter, and the Greeks called Zeus. So Jupiter and Zeus are one and the same. Jupiter or Zeus, Baal, is the universal god of the heathens. He's the god of all the heathens under the different names. I'll say it again. Baal, Jupiter, Zeus is the universal god of all nations. Now he is Caesar Borgia today. Okay? The white Messiah, the white Jesus Christ. That's who he is. As opposed to the black Jesus in the Bible. Okay? So that he's pretty much the same God among all nations. All right? So let's go back to Daniel again.
Hey, D, can we read? Yeah. Can we go back even further? Because you said that the history repeats itself.
Yeah.
It's not linear. It loops, right?
Right.
Can we go back to Babylon? 1 Esdras 4. Because like D said, he did the same thing over and over again. They did it during the Greeks. They did it during the Romans. But if you go back even further, during Babylon, they did the same exact thing. They always wanted our land.
Oh, yeah.
They always wanted our land. Start at read 1 Esdras 4:45.
Yeah.
And then jump to 50 unless D wants something.
That's fine. 45 is good. 45 and 50 is good.
1 Esdras chapter 4 and verse 45. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple, which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees.
There you go. Raise it to the foundation thereof. The Edomites were the ones that burned the temple to the ground. And when they came into power as the Romans, they did it a second time. Jump to verse 50.
Verse 50. And that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute, and that the Edomites should give over the villages of the Jews, which then they held.
So when Babylon conquered us and destroyed the first temple, and they deported us out of our land, the Edomites took over the land. And the Persians had to come along and say, listen, you guys don't belong here. Get out of here. You don't belong here. Give them back their land. Edom took the land, or portions of it.
Right.
So Edom always wanted the land, and they got it again when they conquered it as the Romans. They always wanted our land. It never fails. They have it again as the Israelis.
Right.
They have it again. It's nothing new. And the reason why Ishmael's there is because Ishmael feels both of them are scorned brothers. Because you had Abraham gave birth to Isaac and Ishmael and Isaac. The Lord said, I don't want you. I reject you, Ishmael. I choose Isaac. Ishmael didn't like that. Then down the line, Abraham had Isaac. Isaac had Jacob and Esau. And the Lord said, I don't want you, Esau. I'm doing with Jacob. Both brothers, Ishmael and Esau, despise Jacob and feel entitled to the land. So they're fighting over land that don't belong to either one of them.
Damn.
It's not a coincidence that you have both Ishmael and Edom fighting over their own kin's land, our land. Because they both feel entitled to having land that was not given to them. They feel because they're the elder brothers, they were entitled to the land. God said, no, I don't want you to have the land. I want your younger brothers to have the land. They said, no. That's why in the Quran they say God, the only begotten son wasn't Isaac, it was Ishmael. They changed things around. Then Esau came along with replacement theology and said in Christianity, we're all God's people, not just Israel anymore. When they say that, they mean themselves. All people mean them. There's the same replacement theology from two opposing elder brothers that felt like God neglected them. God gave Ishmael, blessed him with land, oil.
They got it
that
all.
wasn't enough. They still want more. Still want more. Edom the same thing. Still want more. Because of that covetousness, that hatred they have for their younger brothers. It's the same thing. But God is going to remove them both out the land eventually. That's why I'm pro-war. Listen, y'all should fight each other, go to war, bomb the hell out of each other. I don't care for either. I am neutral. I care for not. I hope both win. Because either both y'all lose regardless.
Right.
So when Babylon came and destroyed Jerusalem, Edom came and burned the temple down to the ground and razed it. Then when Edom rose up in power as the Romans, they destroyed the temple a second time and took possession of the land a second time. And now here we are, Israelis today, Netanyahu and them. Here we are again. History is not linear, it loops. Now, give me 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, to go into the history of how the Messiah would be cut off after the 60 and 2 weeks. 2nd Esdras 7 and 28.
2nd Esdras chapter 7 and verse 28. For my son Jesus shall be revealed with those that be with him.
Those that be with him are the disciples. Go ahead.
And they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years.
Within 400 years after you, Ezra and Nehemiah, the Messiah, my son, will appear. 400 years after Ezra and Nehemiah. That's how we know that Daniel 9, when it says restore and build the temple, is referring to their time. Ezra and Nehemiah's time. Artaxerxes' time, Artaxerxes the first to the Messiah, is approximately 480 years. 400 years. From Ezra to Rome is approximately 400 years. It's verbatim. Perfect sync. Read on.
After these years shall my son Christ die, and all men that have life.
And all the disciples will be killed after him. They'll be martyred. I mean, so that's all I want. That's all I want. Let that go. So 400 years after Ezra and Nehemiah, the Messiah will come and die, of course. Now, so from Artaxerxes the first to the Messiah's ministry is 480 years. I mean, literally verbatim. So the scholars know that Book of Daniel is a divine recording. Because it's too accurate. And the writing in which Daniel was written in, the language it's found in, goes back to Babylon. They cannot deny that either. It's Imperial Aramaic. That's what it was written in. It was written in Imperial Aramaic, which language existed during the time of Babylon. So they can't deny it.
Daniel broke down the Greek captivity in detail.
Yep, Daniel 11, he wrote down, families. A whole family of Ptolemies and Seleucids in Daniel 11. So now, let's go to Daniel 9 again.
Daniel chapter 9, verse 27.
Yeah.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
A covenant with the Jews for a while. Go ahead.
And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease.
Cause the Jewish-Roman war. Come on.
And for the overspreading of abominations.
Aelia Capitolina. He built the pagan temple of Jupiter on top of the ruins of the temple. Go ahead.
He shall make it desolate.
Make it desolate, not allow Jews to return to their land.
Even until the consummation.
Until the consummation. Come on.
And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
What's determined is us being scattered abroad and sold in slave ships and scattered all over the world, losing our identity and fulfilling all the curses, if not or most of the curses, found in Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 to 68. That's what it's talking about. That's the fall. This right here is the falling away first. Give me that real quick, Thessalonians. This right here is the falling away first. That's what it's talking about. 2 Thessalonians.
Yep.
To 2. Read that.
2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
I mean, the day is referring to the time when Christ's return is on its way. Read again.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day.
That day is the day of Christ in verse 2. Come on.
Shall not come.
That day cannot come. Christ cannot return a second time. Go ahead.
Except there come a falling away first.
The falling away first is Israel, is the land becoming desolate. Israel being conquered by the Romans. Daniel 9's prophecy had to be fulfilled in order to establish Christ's return. That's what Paul is saying. So the Jews in Spain said, listen, if we know that the temple's going to be destroyed a second time, why return to see it? Why return to see it a second time? We're going to stay in Spain then. Read on.
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
So once all this took place, prophecies of Daniel took place, Deuteronomy 28 took place, we will return to our nationality. come to knowledge of self, and learn who the enemy, who the devil the Bible speaks of is. That's the so-called white man, the European man, the man of sin. That's who it's talking about. The Romans, the Spaniards, the Greeks, the British, all Europeans is that man or nation of sin or man of perdition. All right? But that had to read verse 4.
Verse
Say,
4.
watch.
Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God.
Remember earlier it said that he said that their God conquered the God of the Jews. Watch.
Or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God.
The Romans sat in the temple of God. They built Aelia Capitolina. They built Aelia Capitolina there. Jupiter, go ahead.
Showing himself that he is God.
Because the Roman Caesars deified themselves as God. They said, we're God. This is my temple. That's what they did. Paul made it clear what happened. This is before 70 AD Paul wrote this. So he made it clear that the man of perdition would come along, destroy Jerusalem, and build a temple and say, I am God. That's the Romans. That is the so-called white man. Then down the line, he became the Hispano-Romans, the Spaniards, and again became Caesar Borgia, imposed as a white version of Jesus Christ. That's what he did. Because Caesar Borgia and them are Hispano-Romans, Romans that resided in Spain. That's who they were. Visigoths are Hispano-Romans, Romans that resided in Spain from the time of Julius Caesar. That's who they are. They're Romans. The Portuguese, the Spanish, the French, they're all Romans. All of them. British are Romans. Americans are Romans.
Right.
America is an extension of Rome. Britain's an extension of Rome. Russia is an extension of Rome. So now, go back to the history now, Wikipedia. We're going to go to, similarly, go back to Wikipedia, history of the Jews in Spain. Let's go back to there. Let's go back to that. History of the Jews in Spain. History of the Jews in Spain. And we're going to go to where it says, similarly, Gedaliah ibn Jekiah. Similarly, let's find in there. Similarly, that's how it starts off. Yep, right there. We're going to end at there.
And
this whole paragraph here.
Similarly, Gedaliah ibn Jekiah, the Spaniard, has written in 252 Anno Mundi, 1492 CE, the King Ferdinand and his wife Isabella made war with the Ishmaelites who were in Grenada and took it.
No, they made war with the Israelites that were Moors. This is erroneous. Not Ishmael, these are Moors, Arab Moors.
Dressed as Muslims.
This is the Esau conquered Jacob again and gained dominion. This is the Reconquista. This is the reconquest of Spain. Okay, so the Edomites. This is all during Renaissance. Esau starts to gain dominion of the earth back into his hands again. We're going to eventually revisit this, but we're going to jump back and forth in time. So this is the time period right here where Esau starts to regain dominion back over the earth again. Okay? So read it again. So it says King Ferdinand and Isabella made war with the Israelites that were Muslims. That's what it means. Go ahead.
Who were in Grenada and took it.
Because the last stronghold of the Moors was Grenada. Go ahead.
And while they returned, they commanded the Jews and all of his kingdoms that in but a short time they were to take leave from the countries they had heretofore possessed, they being Castile, Navarre, Catalonia, Aragon, Grenada, and Sicily.
This is where all the Jews reside. They say, we want all you Jews out immediately. This is the expulsion. So during this time is a time when many of us fled to, remember 492? When we fled to the Americas, majority of us fled into Africa. The majority of us fled into Africa. Okay, read on.
Then the Jewish inhabitants of Toledo answered that
we named this city Toledo. That's our name we gave it, Toledo. Go ahead.
answered that they were not present in the land of Judea at the time when their Christ was put to death.
Right. So we told the king and queen we weren't there when Christ was killed, because word got to Spain that Christ died. Go ahead. Because remember, Daniel 9, they read Daniel 9, that the Messiah will be born and be killed. So they said, listen, we weren't there when he was killed. We were here. Go ahead.
Apparently, it was written upon a large stone in the city street, which some very ancient sovereign inscribed and testified that the Jews of Toledo did not depart from there during the building of the second temple.
Right.
And were not involved in putting to death the man whom they called Christ.
Because remember, King Ferdinand and Isabella were Catholics. So they said, listen, you guys are murderers of Christ. They said, no, not us. Our brothers were over there. We've been here the whole time. We didn't kill the Messiah. We lived here the whole time in Spain. They were trying to pretty much make it where the king and queen didn't paint them as enemies. It didn't work. But they were trying to separate themselves from the Jews that were responsible for having Christ killed. But it didn't matter, because they hated the Jews regardless. Read on.
Yet no apology was of any avail to them.
It didn't matter. Go ahead.
Neither unto the rest of the Jews, till at length 600,000 souls had evacuated from there.
Right. They made 600,000 of us evacuate from Spain and Portugal. From Spain. Now, get after the destruction. After the destruction, right there. Let me see.
Arrival after.
Right there.
It should start off after the destruction. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, it should end that right here. End that community.
After
Let me see what community is. Yeah, okay. So these two paragraphs. Go ahead.
arrival after the destruction of the second temple.
So arrival after the destruction of the second temple. Watch this.
Rabbi and scholar Abraham ibn Daud wrote in 1161, a tradition exists with the Jewish community of Grenada that they are from the inhabitants of Jerusalem, of the descendants of Judah and Benjamin,
There you go.
rather than from the villages, the towns, and the outlying districts of Israel.
Come on.
Elsewhere, he writes about his maternal grandfather's family and
His mom's side. Go ahead.
how they came to Spain. When Titus prevailed over Jerusalem,
Titus, remember 70 AD, when Titus and his father Vespasian prevailed over Jerusalem. Go ahead.
his officer, who was appointed over Hispania, appeased him, requesting that he send to him captives made up of the nobles of Jerusalem.
They sent the noblest of us to Jerusalem as captives. Go ahead. Like Babylon did this. Babylon did the exact same thing. They sent the nobles of our people to Babylon, and they placed us in Spain. Same thing. That's why God calls Edom the daughter of Babylon, because Edom mimics Babylon. Edom is the daughter, the spiritual daughter of Babylon. Read on.
And so he sent a few of them to him. And there were amongst them those who made curtains and who were knowledgeable in the work of silk.
We were always before. We were knowledgeable in silk. That's why many of us traveled to China. A lot of the Silk Road, that was us. The garments they wear now, the little freaking they call them not gi. What they call their garments. The Japanese, they call their garments
Komodo.
kimonos. All that's us. That fashion of theirs, you think with It Man, the nice little garments and turtleneck up here, that's Jake style. That's ours, that's us. Read on.
And one whose name was Baruch, and they remained in Merida. Here, Rabbi Abraham ben David refers to the second influx of Jews into Spain shortly after the destruction of Israel's second temple in 70 CE.
So the first ancient influx was Babylon. The second major influx was Rome. After 70 AD, we fled there. We fled to Spain because we knew our brothers were already here in Spain from Babylon. We always flee where our brothers are. Always. Read on.
Don Isaac Abravanel.
Now, Don Isaac Abravanel was a noble brother. He came from a very wealthy Israelite family. He tried to buy off the king and queen to keep them from selling us, to keep them from kicking us out of Spain. It didn't work, but he tried really hard. Go ahead.
Wrote that he found written in the ancient annals of Spanish history collected by the kings of Spain.
The kings of Spain kept ancient records regarding our people, and he had access to it because he had status with the king and queen of Spain. So he had access to these records that the white man had regarding us in our time in Spain. Watch.
That the 50,000 Jewish households then residing in the cities throughout Spain were the descendants of men and women
Watch.
who were sent to Spain by the Roman emperor and who had formerly been subjected to him, and whom Titus had originally exiled from places in or around Jerusalem.
Come on.
The two Jewish exiles, those sent to Spain after the destruction of the first temple,
Babylon.
and those sent there after the destruction of the second temple,
Rome.
joined together and became
One community. Because that's Judah in both time periods. Judah and remnants of Ephraim, and a second time, Judah and remnants of Ephraim a second time. And they came and said, oh, our family's here. Judah's already here. Benjamin's already here. Levi's already here. Ephraim's already here. And they all just came and married and loved each other. We were, okay, all praises. You guys escaped. All praises, you escaped. Right. Because the brothers in Spain knew regarding the prophecy of Daniel 9, the Rome would attack Jerusalem. They knew. So they stayed put in Spain, which is smart. Okay? Because remember what Christ said. He said, flee. Those who live in Jerusalem, get out of there. Those who live outside Jerusalem, don't come back. And Spain said, okay. They listened. So that's what happened. So that is the history of the Jews in Spain and Portugal. The bulk of Jews of Spain and Portugal are Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and remnants of Ephraim during the time of Babylon. And then you had Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and remnants of Ephraim during the time of 70 AD. That is the time. Okay, so that's who fled into Africa, North Africa, fled to the Americas. That's who fled to further into Europe. Those primarily those four. Okay, I say four as an Ephraim and remnants. That's what I mean by four. So, but the bulk is the Southern Kingdom. All right, you understand? Hope you understand. Now, let's go to Luke 21. This is what Christ confirms what Daniel was saying. Luke 21, verse 20 now. Because I said it, let's read it.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20.
Yeah.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
That goes back to you shall see the flood or wars are determined in Daniel 9. Armies is Roman armies. Titus and Vespasian. Go ahead.
Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
The desolation thereof is nigh is the desolation that Daniel spoke about in Daniel 9 and 26. That's what he's talking about. Christ is giving warning. What happened with the Greeks will happen again with the Romans. What happened with Babylon will happen again with the Romans. He's warning us. Read on.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Those who are in Judea, leave this place. Go ahead.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
And those who are in the midst of it, depart out. Go ahead.
And let not them that are in the countries
like Spain, go ahead.
enter thereinto.
Don't return. Go ahead.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Written where? In Deuteronomy. Written where? In Daniel 9. 24 to the end. That's what he's talking about. But Israel did not listen and got murdered by the millions, being stupid and rebellious like you are today. Read on.
But woe unto them that are with child.
This goes back to us as a covenant for 1 week. He would cut off the food and water supply. We start to eat our young. Read on.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Come on.
For there shall be great distress in the land,
And
wrath upon this people.
God's wrath. Read on.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword,
We shall fall by the edge of the Roman sword. Come on.
and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Desolations are determined of falling away first. That's what Christ is talking about. That's what Paul was referring to. Read on.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
And once Israel was overthrown by the Romans and not allowed back in, it will be trodden down of foreign nations, Edomites or Romans and Palestinians today. That's who's trotting it down today. That's who's walking upon today saying they belong there when they both don't belong there. Read on.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the time of the Gentiles is up. Until their time in the land is up. And Christ is enough. It's time for a divine eviction notice.
Right.
That's why I said before, I am pro-war. I want all nations at war. I'm going to tell you straight. I want America to burn to the freaking ground.
Right.
That's right.
Because all of it leads to that anyway. All maps lead to America's destruction. Every map.
That's right.
No matter what path you go, Palestine bomb Israel, Israel bomb Palestine, all road maps lead to America's destruction regardless. Don't matter to me. Doesn't matter. Play around if I want to. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see.
Right.
Think we warmongers.
We are warmongers, yes. There's no running from that. Y'all mock us, y'all Negroes mock us now. You're gonna have 30 minutes to escape that. 30 minutes. Good luck. Now, give me Proverbs 22 and verse 3. Regarding when Christ said, leave out of there. Don't stay there. Leave. For those that chose to stay. Proverbs 22 and verse 3.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil.
Our people in Spain, they foresaw the evil. They read it. A wise man foreseeth the evil. Go ahead.
And hideth himself.
And does not return. Does not stay there. They leave. Read on.
But the simple pass on.
But a stupid ass stays there to see what's going on. What's happening? Like white folks be doing. Or when you hear shots ring out, niggas will see what it is, where the shots came from. Now I'm running. You know when Jake run, all Jake run.
Right.
Read 3 again.
Ask questions
A
later.
prudent man.
Yeah, what happened? I'm at home. What happened? I'm gonna call find out. What happened? I'm in the house already. I'm not staying there. Read 3 again.
A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself.
Come on.
But the simple pass on.
They ignore the evil. They ignore the foresight of evil. Go ahead.
And are punished.
And get put to death. Christ gave a warning. Listen, evil's coming here. Don't come back here. Don't stay here. Don't come back here. It's just a man, F you, Christ, the hell with you. We going to fight the white man. Okay. Christ said, okay, good luck.
Right. 'Cause we really believed at that time we could take on Rome. We really believed at that.
Get the PDF. Go ahead.
We really believed at that time that we could take on Rome. You had the Zealots, you had the Sicarii, and we understood we had one common enemy, but we all started fighting amongst ourselves anyway. So Rome took advantage of that. We were getting the best of Rome at the time, hand-to-hand combat and so forth, but that was the most
short-lived.
Yeah, that was short-lived.
Short-lived.
Hey,
Go ahead.
you mind if I say, the same way how Christ was telling them to depart from Jerusalem, Jeremiah tried to do the same thing when he was telling them about the Chaldees.
Yeah.
Mind if I get the scripture really quick?
Yeah.
Get Jeremiah chapter 37, verse 9 to 10, and then jump to verse 12. Because that same thing, like you said, the history just continually repeats itself.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing when Jeremiah told them to leave because Babylon was going to destroy the temple and the city.
Mm-hmm.
He did the same thing. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 37, verse 9.
So this is Jeremiah speaking. Read on.
Thus saith the Lord, deceive not yourselves, saying, the Chaldeans shall surely depart from us, for they shall not depart.
Because Zedekiah and the princes was telling the people, don't worry, we can fight against the Chaldees. But Jeremiah says, don't deceive yourself. You will lose. Read on.
For though ye had smitten the whole army of the Chaldeans that fight against you.
Because he said, even if you killed all the Chaldeans, which isn't going to happen, but if there was a way that you defeated the army, read on.
And there remain but wounded men among them. Yet should they rise up every man in his tent and burn this city with fire.
So he said, even if y'all defeated all the army, the wounded of the army will still take the city.
Damn.
Now, jump to verse 12.
Then Jeremiah went forth out of Jerusalem.
What did he say?
Then Jeremiah went forth out of Jerusalem to go into the land of Benjamin.
Why?
To separate himself thence in the midst of the people.
So he knew what was going to happen. So he said, I'm going to separate myself from the people because he knew the evil that was going to come upon the city. So the rest of the people, they wanted to stay there. So you read on, this is when they actually imprisoned Jeremiah. Said, nah, you ain't leaving.
They threw him in ward. They threw him in prison. Yup. So, again, man, our people don't listen. Back then, they don't listen now. We tell y'all destruction's coming. It's like back then, nuclear war's coming. Y'all laugh. Y'all mock. That's a conspiracy theory. Okay. You keep laughing. When you're black behind us on nuclear fire, you're going to see how much laughter there is then. So, get me the Encyclopedia of the Jewish Diaspora. I want volume 3, page 1093. Now, y'all should have that already on file, but you may not have it. So I brought the book here just in case, so there's no excuses behind you not having the book. I want page 1093. We're going to end at Asia Minor. Go to the top of the page. Right there.
Caucasus and Central Asia, Jews in the Caucasus.
So there were Jews that ran into the Caucasus. Go down in early history.
The early Jewish history of the Caucasus. The early history of the Jewish communities of the Caucasus is quite controversial and scattered among numerous historical sources and the oral traditions of the Georgian, Mountain, and Bukharian Jews. Historical sources link the arrival of Jews to the Caucasus and Central Asia with the exile of the 10 tribes, 720 BCE, or with the destruction of the first temple, 586 BCE.
You see where we ran to during these times? The Northern Kingdom fled there first. They fled into the Russia. They fled into, remember, the city of the Medes, that borders Iran. Russia. That's what it was. Russia and Iran are neighbors. So when they placed us in the cities of the Medes or the cities of the Iranians, we fled further up into Eastern Europe. And we built settlements there. That's your Scythians.
The Bukharian Jews, that's Bokhara or Hara,
which
is a city of the Medes that you read about that we got taken to.
Right.
Which is modern-day Uzbekistan.
There you go. Right. So you read, Hara in the scriptures is Bukhara.
Yep.
Bukhara, right.
Kings, yep.
Read on. And then of course, after Syria, and we learned about brothers over there in that area, Babylon came along, we ran with them. Read on.
At least 3 different theories try to explain the arrival and spread of Jewish communities in the Caucasian mountains. According to the Scythian theory.
The what?
Scythian theory.
Scythian theory. Not a theory, though. But read on.
Which links the arrival of Jewry in the Caucasus with the steep nomadic culture that came into existence in the 4th century BCE.
So the Scythians goes back to Jewish arrival, because the Scythians, scholars know, that the Scythians, or a sect of Scythians, were Israelites. That's the point. Read on.
Jews arrived in Scythia, this steep region between the Black Sea and Altai Mountains, as prisoners of war from the land of Israel. Jews were settled in permanent villages in the region between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea in the years 635 to 610 BCE and became known as professional craftspeople and traders.
Nothing new. Go ahead.
According to the Caucasian theory, Jews arrived in the Caucasus region as a result of the defeat of the Kingdom of Israel and the exile of its population.
Northern Kingdom arrived there first. Scholars know this. I'm just showing you. Go ahead.
The Bosporus theory seems to be on firmer ground. According to this theory, Jews first settled in the Greek colonies along the north shore of the Black Sea.
We settled in the Greek colony. That's who Paul visited. The Greek-speaking colonies. Read on.
From the 4th century BCE to the 1st century BCE. Jews arrived and settled there from already extant diasporas in Asia Minor,
where Paul's ministry was the strongest. Read on.
Jewish communities lived and developed under 3 successive political regimes. The Greek Empire from the 4th to 1st centuries BCE, the Roman Empire, 1st century BCE to 4th century CE, and the Byzantine Empire.
We fled from Roman. We fled from our own people. Because remember, the Mosaic law and the Christian doctrine were outlawed. So they fled to areas where they were allowed to observe their customs in neutrality. Because the Khazars by that time were there. So they had freedom of some kind in these areas here, away from the Roman Empire or Holy Roman Empire, ruled by Israelites. Read on.
4th to 7th centuries CE. Pagan rule was quite conductive for economic consolidation of the Jewish community.
That goes to the Khazars, pagan rule. Go ahead.
But the Christian period saw intensifying pressures on non-Christian minorities of Byzantium.
See? Go ahead.
Jews began to settle on the shores of the Black Sea and in the Caucasian mountains as a result of the persecution
See?
of the Jews in
Byzantium.
Byzantium
Go ahead.
and the ensuing exodus, especially at the beginning of the 5th century.
During Emperor Justinian, he was persecuting the Jews. He hated Judaism. He hated them with a passion. And so many of them fled into that area, and those Jews that fled from him converted the Khazars that lived out there. Cajun Bullen. That's where it started. We were there first. The Khazars came in, and we converted them to our ways over time, and they became Jewish. Then eventually, when the Russians came in, which are pagan Edomites came in, the Huns and Russians came in, and they conquered the Khazar Kingdom. Those same Khazars ran to Spain, where Jews were ruling, and then became conquistadors. When the Spanish crown took over and conquered us, they became conquistadors, and the rest and they became pretty much Jewish Israelis. Portuguese merchants, Spanish merchants, conquistadors, and enslaved us and built the ships that enslaved us and scattered us all over the world and built the West India Company, Dutch West India Company, and then, of course, funded America's inception. The list it goes on and on. That's what happened. Okay? So do I want this? Let me see if I want this. Yeah, read that. Oh, yeah, read it.
About 60 Jewish tombstones were found in Phanagoria, Mutarakhan, on the Crimean Peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
These showed that Jews were influenced by Hellenistic culture.
Yes, these Jews were influenced by Greek culture. Watch.
Spoke and read Greek.
We spoke and read Greek. Watch.
Gave their children Greek names.
Like Timothy,
Right.
Yep.
Titus,
Right.
Aristarchus. Hold on. Alexander.
Hymenaeus.
All the people you read that Paul wrote to. Yeah, shout outs to Claudia. Shout outs to Tertullian. Shout out to
Just say it,
Tertullian.
Tertullian.
That's his name, but yeah, Apollos, whatever. Lucas,
Jason.
Marcus, Jason, Justus. These are Greek names that Paul was writing to his people that were his fellow soldiers, his people. Read on. They're Greek names. Go ahead.
And even prayed in Greek.
They what?
Prayed in Greek.
They wasn't using the Hebrew name at that time. They prayed to the Father and the Son in Greek too. Aha. Aha. Go ahead.
But their tombstones bear Jewish symbols.
Like what?
Such as 7-branch menorahs.
Nah, 8-9 branch.
7-branch menorahs.
Biblical menorahs. Real ones. Not convert menorahs. Or convert tassels to the clothes. Go ahead.
Shofars and lulubs.
Go ahead.
Evidence was also found that Jewish communities enjoyed a certain amount of autonomy,
Stay to themselves. Go ahead.
autonomy and had permanent contact
Watch.
with the Babylonian Jewish community and the land of Israel.
Jews that resided in Iraq, because they were observing, both of them observed Talmudism. And they taught that Talmudism to the Khazars, who are now inhabiting the land of Israel today. Pharisees, modern Edomitic Pharisees. That's who they are today. To the same opposition that Christ faced of his own people in power with the Romans is the same opposition we face today with Esau taking on the title of Pharisees with America, which is Rome all over again. They're going to do the exact same thing to us now that they did to Christ and the disciples back then. Like Ezra said, Christ will be killed and those that have life. Nothing different. History is linear. History is not linear. It loops. Now, that's all I want. Now, let's get Colossians 3:11. Colossians 3:11. Let's get that. We're almost going to go on break soon. We actually passed the time of break. We can go there now. We're going to take a break after this. Colossians 3:11 regarding the Scythians. The Scythians, how do you pronounce it? Whatever. Tomato, tomato. You can also contact us at 267 through text, 267-702-6121. That's 267-702-6121. All right, you can also zoom in Zoom call us as well. And don't forget to donate. Shout out to the Booster Club. Shout out to the Booster Club. If it were not for you, the travels and missions that we've accomplished this past few weeks would not have been possible. Were it not for your willful contributions and donations and donations. We thank you for your alms. We thank you very much. Shout out to y'all. Give them a round of applause.
The labors of love.
For making this mission possible. So donate. Don't forget. You see where the work. You see where your funds go. You see that building out there in Kenya? That's from your funds. That's not from. You're not gonna see us standing in front of a Maserati or standing in front of a private jet. You don't see that with us. But the bishop is not worth $4 billion. I don't know where it's coming from. Who got these numbers? If he had $4 billion, we wouldn't be working. Most of us would be out doing the work. We wouldn't have jobs.
Bishop's actually worth more than that.
The kingdom of God.
It's priceless, man.
In the eyes of the Lord, he's definitely worth more than $4 billion. Right.
Right.
All right. Read that again.
Yes, sir. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 11.
11.
Where there is neither Greek nor Jew.
Neither Greek, remember the Israelites are the Greek names, Greek language, Greek culture, still Jews. Neither Greek nor what?
Greek nor Jew.
Greek nor Jew.
Circumcision nor uncircumcision.
Jews that are circumcised or Greek uncircumcised. Go ahead.
Barbarian.
Don't speak Hebrew. Don't speak the Roman language. Don't speak the Roman language. Go ahead.
Scythian.
Or what?
Scythian.
So they all, read on.
Bond nor free.
Free or bond. Go ahead.
But Christ is all and in all.
Because they're all the same. The Scythians are the Jews. The Greeks and Jews and Scythians are the same people. I'm going to prove the Scythians are Israelites. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it. But after this break. So y'all, stay tuned. Get yourselves together. We got more information for y'all. We're almost there. Till the Dark Ages magnify. We're almost there. If I can get through this lesson today, we will be in the Dark Ages, Lord's will, next week. So stay tuned. We'll be back after the break. All right?
Work. You're not Grenadian. That's right. You're from the tribe of Benjamin. From the nation of Israel.
This is why they do it, because they say God is a white man. They say God is a white man, so they want to look like that. But this is what Christ looks like right here.
Yes, we are oppressed by the white men. We are oppressed by the queen because we don't have our freedom.
This isn't a religion. This is our nationality. Like how you call yourself a Grenadian, that's not your nationality. Your nationality is you are an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin.
Because what I'm showing you is that what y'all call history is biblical prophecy.
Say, envy not the oppressor. Who is the oppressor? The white man is the oppressor.
Children of Israel. Right. We are not Grenadian. Grenada means pomegranate. We're the greatest people on the face of the earth. We're the greatest nation on the face of the earth. Our people are lost.
At this moment, think about the book of Acts in the Bible. Why? Because after Jesus, the Black Messiah, taught the 12 apostles, the first book you read after the 4 Gospels is Acts, the actions of the apostles.
Estimados pasajeros, sean todos bienvenidos a Paramaribo. Dear passengers, welcome to Paramaribo.
Hey, Shalom. Look, so we just finished our plane ride from Miami to Suriname. You know, it was a smooth transition until we got to Suriname. They hit us with a little left hook with some paperwork that we normally fill out on paper, but now we got to fill out online. So then we had to stay back and fill that out online with a QR code. It's a whole bunch of stuff. See, this is the part of traveling that they don't tell you about. This is the part of traveling they don't tell you about. But y'all gonna see, we're gonna get it in. We're gonna have a lot of footage. It's raining right now. We are in the top of the rainforest, but still, hey, the work of the prophets don't stop.
Hey, Shalom, this is Mosiah Christ Bless, Captain Jonathan, and Captain Michael.
Captain Yehoshua.
Hey, we just blazed the island of Barbados with the gospel. We made the news, we're in the newspapers, we're everywhere. Remember, all praises to the Most High God. Thank you. Love Mission 138, success. Yeah, blaze up, Rastafarianism, blaze up that one deal with the man spirit, blaze up Christianity. Lord's will, I got one more day here to do some work. But once again, thanks to the Booster Club and all your support. We're going to keep this work going.
That's right. We blazed up the beach yesterday. All praises. And when we finished up,
blazed up. The fire booth, man. We went to the fire booth last night, man.
I'm Captain Yawanathan to my right, Captain Yehoshua to my left, Captain Michael. And from IUIC Barbados, Happy Passover!
Go check out IUIC, and I'm telling you right now, you've got nothing to lose.
What are you? We're in the building. Where you at, bud? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Hey, Shalom, Most High Christ, blessed Passover 2025 here out here in the Netherlands. We have the captains out there, Captain Yadin, Captain Gedaliah, Captain Azariah. The officers also came out, putting in the brick, building us up for the next thing that's coming next.
Traveling, it brings the scriptures to life. We think about Isaiah 11 and verse 11, waking up the dispersed of our people. A lot of times you never think to go to places like this, European countries where it's mostly the other nations there to find your people. But once you get here, you realize we can really make a big difference in waking up the 12 tribes of Israel, being in places like this. Because there's a lot of our people concentrated in these areas, and they're ready. They're ready to be woken up.
They understand oppression, right? So when they hear us speak and say certain things and use the Bible to convey our messages, a lot of them are captivated by it and want to know more. Are we fulfilling the Great Commission that Christ commanded the apostles to fulfill? And we're doing it in a major way.
Israel United in Christ Church. And we have people all the way from the United States of America who have been in Cameroon for the past 6 days. Left their country, coming here down to Cameroon to really preach the gospel of Christ to us.
To the 12 tribes, which are scattered abroad.
That is why we came all the way from America to Cameroon, because we are seeking the 12 tribes that have been scattered abroad.
If we are above all people, why are we at the bottom? Why do we not have any of the resources that we provide in Cameroon?
In Isaiah 11:11, it says those scattered throughout Africa and abroad. We have been scattered all over the world.
Back from the break. All right, back from the break. I'm going to quickly breeze through your comments you made. I'm reading the comments here. Obi Aman, yes, go back 2 weeks ago and watch my class on Iberia, regarding Iberia. I'm touching that already. I already touched on that history regarding Portugal and Spain being called Iberia. That goes back to the name Hebrews or Eber, as well as the river as well. Ebro, Eber as well. That goes. So if you go back 2 weeks ago and watch the lesson, I think it was 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago?
Yes, sir.
I touched on Iberia, Ibernia, Iberia, Iber. It's the same place.
Hebrides.
Going back to Hebrides, New Hebrides, goes back to Hebrews. That's the answer to the question. Is there any truth to the Trinity? No. Trinity is garbage. I'm going over that. Laws of the Council of Nicaea. I'll be going into that later on, and going on to that later on, into detail regarding how stupid and nonsensical it was and is. The Council of Nicaea was garbage, nonsense. So the Trinity is nonsense. No, it's not. There's nothing true about it at all. That's Catholic garbage. And what's these questions here?
All right, you got three
Going
questions.
through one at a time.
Yes, 3 questions. So basically, the Japhetic tribes was in power during the Greek captivity. First question.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Japheth and Edom were an alliance, but Yes, by the time Julius Caesar took over, the Gen family, that was it. The Roman Republic, Roman Kingdom, Roman Republic was Japheth. And Roman Kingdom was Japheth. Roman Republic was Edom and Japheth together, and then eventually Edom Edom entirely.
All right, next.
So yes.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes, next question. Good question. It says, so Hannibal was fighting Japheth? Question.
No. By the time Hannibal came in, there was Julius. It was the Edomites by that time. During Hannibal's time, it was the Edomites by that time.
All right. Third question. Do you know anything about the exodus of our people that took place in Egypt before Moses did?
No, there's no evidence of that at all. I keep hearing that. I don't know where it comes from. It's not biblical.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's not rooted in the Bible at all. We left out of Egypt before then. That's not biblical.
What?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You heard that before. We went to Greece before Moses delivered us out of Egypt. We went to Greece.
I heard that.
That's in
And
some
then we
books.
came back
Yeah,
into slavery.
It's in some books.
I don't know. I don't touch on that. It's not in the Bible. Let me tell you something right now. Most of the history I touch on, if it's not biblically based or sound, I don't mess with it. It gotta be the Bible. The Bible's the key. The Bible is the foundational block of all history I go over. If I can't tie it to the Bible, I don't mess around with it, or I make it clear it's conjecture or it's secondary information. So biblically speaking, no. Go ahead.
All right. So Shalom, Most High Christ, blessed leadership. My question is, how did the Axum Kingdom of Ethiopia deal with Spain in if any sense they seem to be in the same time period?
I'm not quite familiar with that history regarding it. I know the Axum became Christians at some point. Habashas, that's our people over there. They adopted Christianity over there, but I think it was the pagan Christianity, not the real one, because the first time the Christian doctrine was over there was by the eunuch that Philip taught in the book of Acts, chapter 8. Acts 8, the eunuch that Philip taught went back to Ethiopia and he spread the gospel there. And that's where it started. Some say Solomon, I don't know all of that nonsense, but I know Philip the eunuch brought it over there. But then eventually the pagan Christianity of Rome made its way over there as well. Yep. So regarding Axum,
came Abyssinia.
Yeah, Abyssinia. Yeah,
we fled there too after the destruction of the temple.
We fled there. It's the next door.
Yeah, and that kingdom, the Axum Kingdom, they was also colonized by Ptolemy too. Ptolemy during the Greek captivity.
Oh, okay, there you go.
They went over there and colonized that whole, and sided with the Greeks.
Okay, well there you go. All right, let's see. All right. What else?
You got a lot more questions. Deacon.
All right, cool.
It says, hey Deacon, have you ever heard book called The Nestorians? If so, please expound. Found a thrifty store for 99 cents.
It's Nestorians? I think that's some kind of sect.
The Nestorians, yeah.
That's some kind of ancient sect I think that existed around the time the Messiah walked the earth. I'm not sure. I didn't look into that. I don't know who that is. I know about the Essenes. I'm not sure about the Nestorians. Nestorians or Nestorians. I didn't look into that. What's next?
Next.
It says post it to Jesus Christ. Okay, Nestorianism is the Christological heresy. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's why it's 99 cents.
Posits that Jesus Christ was two distinct persons, one divine, one human, rather than so he's basically demigod. No, not biblical.
Yeah, take that book back, my man.
Yeah, throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, throw it in the garbage. Don't take it back.
That's the Nicene stuff. Huh?
Don't the Christians be saying that? He's God and man and
It's paganism.
Oh gosh.
Christianity, Christianity mixed with Greek philosophy. What's next?
All right, it says in the book of the Maccabees, are the Romans Japheth or Esau?
First Maccabees 8 is going into Japheth and Esau. Japheth and Esau at that time.
The Republic.
The Republic was a mixture of Japheth and Esau. By the time it reached Julius Caesar, it was Edom that took over. The Gen family I mentioned before. So it was Japheth and Edom, the Senate. It was an Etruscan Senate and Edomite Senate merged together during the Maccabees.
All right, next.
Damn, they coming in, huh?
Yeah. Says, Shalom, Most High Christ bless. I did some research on my last name, Lartigue, translated to the tall ones from South France. I was wondering if you had any books on the Moors in South France.
We'll get to that. We're getting there. Yes, I do. I have much information on the Moors in South France, yes. Much of it. That's later on. If I can get through this, I'll get there. More than likely, I'm not going to get through this.
Yeah, especially.
But it's okay. It's all right.
All right. Two
We're
questions.
We're here for you. So go ahead.
Yes, 2 questions here. It says, Shalom. So King Solomon's fleet came to Arzareth first. They didn't have settlement since no one dwelt there, as the Bible says.
Well, I'll say this. I said before, secondarily. So secondarily, historically, based upon secular information, Solomon arrived here first. When we go into this year, the Olmecs, that'll be his fleet. That'll be the ones that stayed here and settled here on a minor level. Then when Persia came, that was the big influx. Northern Kingdom came here. During the time of Persia, we came over here, and the big influx. Then historically, again, we came back during the time of Rome. And we maintained correspondence between West Africa and the Americas back and forth. Like Mali, that's what they say, historically speaking. All right? What's up next?
All right. Did the Khazars ever invade Spain when our people ruled there or not?
Yes, they fled there when the Kiev Rus, the Russians, came and conquered the Khazarian Empire. The noble of them, they fled to Spain, and we were still ruling at the time, and learned in our schools. Once King Ferdinand and Isabella took over, those same Khazars sided with the Catholic Church, became conquistadors, took on our names, our identities, and our wealth, and conquered us, and became Jewish. Yes.
All right, we got more?
I went over this way back, weeks ago. Huh?
King Ferdinand and Isabella are said to be of Khazar.
Khazar, they are Khazars.
They were learning in our schools in Toledo, Spain.
Yes,
Roman Khazars.
Roman Khazars, yeah.
11th century.
Mm-hmm. The 1000s, yes.
Yep.
All right, I think the other question.
So we taught the enemies how to destroy us. Yep. Congratulations, Negroes. Nothing new under the sun. So, congratulations. Yeah, exactly. Congratulations. So now, let's go to Romans 15. Shout out to, obviously I can't bring to my attention, I forgot. Regarding us being in Spain. Paul wrote to us in Spain. Romans 15, verse 24.
Romans chapter 15 and verse 24.
Then 28.
Whensoever I take my journey into Spain.
So Paul went to Spain because the Jews are there from the time of Babylon. I take my journey into Spain, go ahead.
I will come to you.
I will come to you, the Jews in Spain, go ahead.
For I trust to see you in my journey, and to be brought on my way thitherward by you.
28.
Verse 28. When therefore I have performed this, I have sealed to them this fruit. I will come by you into Spain.
So Paul had a school in Spain. The Jews are there. So the Bible supports, as I said before, the Bible must be the foundation. So Paul went to the Jews that were in Spain. He wrote to them. He said, I'm going to, Lord, so I have time. When I'm done with this church, I'll come by you. So the Jews learned of Christ in Spain. So the doctrine of Christ, the black Messiah, was in Spain. That's what the crown was killing us out of there. Okay? So, now, Scythians, Colossians 11, Scythians, give me Hosea 1 and 6. Hosea 1 and 6 regarding why we became Scythians, barbarians, Greeks. Northern Kingdom fled there first, or were exiled there first.
Hosea chapter 1 and verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And she conceived again and bare a daughter.
Hosea's wife conceived and bare him a daughter. Come on.
And God said unto him, call her name Leruhamah.
Call her name Leruhamah. Come on.
For I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel.
Meaning I will no longer have mercy. Leruhamah means no mercy upon Northern Kingdom. Come on.
But I will utterly take them away.
I will have them conquered by the Assyrians and become the lost 10 tribes, exiles. Read on.
But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah.
But I will have mercy upon the Southern Kingdom. Go ahead.
And will save them by the Lord their God. And will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen.
I will personally defend Judah. Read on.
Now when she had weaned Leruhamah,
no mercy, that's what that name means.
She conceived and bare a son.
So she had a girl, now a boy. Go ahead.
Then said God, call his name Lo-Ami.
Call his name Lo-Ami. Why?
For ye are not my people.
For ye are not my people. So Northern Kingdom will have no mercy and will not be God's people. So what do you call a person that has no mercy from God and is not his people? You call them a Gentile. Northern Kingdom, right here prophetically, are being related to or referred to as Gentiles. They will become lost Gentiles. No mercy from God. No longer God's people. That is a Gentile, a heathen, a stranger, a Scythian, barbarian, Greek, Gentile, uncircumcision. Read on.
And I will not be your God.
And I will not be your God. You will be a Gentile. So when Paul wrote to the Gentiles in the New Testament, that's who he was talking to. What we got there in the text?
Okay. Are the Scythians and Native Americans the same people?
Yes, they are. They look the same, and they are the same people. In fact, the white man said that there's Scythians in America. There's Scythians here. Why'd they get over here? They must have crossed the Bering Strait.
Right.
That's what they said. Because they were doing the exact same thing, looking the exact same way. Bow and arrows and all that stuff, riding horses really well. So these guys must have crossed the Bering Strait. Bering Strait's nonsense, but they said these guys are identical. They must have got here somehow. Because the Scythians and the Americans look exactly the same. They were Israelites. All right? There more questions? God, hey.
Okay.
All right.
In the book of Maccabees.
Live, this is live today. Live. Come on.
Oh, that's the same question right there. Second one. What tribes in Somalia are Israelites?
Somalis. I'm not sure. Somali would be, that'd be about Southern Kingdom more than likely. Because Somalia is, that's part of Sudan. Well, Somalis are not people.
It's on the horn of
Somalis are not people. Somalis are Sabians. Somalis are the Sabians. Those are Hamites. You have our people among them, but the Nilotic Somalians are the Sabians. Okay? We fled there. That'll be, next to Jerusalem, that'll be more like the Southern Kingdom that fled there. Which tribe precisely, I don't know. But Southern Kingdom fled there. Remember, when 70 AD, we fled to Egypt and the neighboring lands. So Ethiopia, Libya, Egypt, and so on and so forth. Sudan, Malawi, Babylon, Malawi, Uganda, and Kenya. All right, what else we got?
Okay.
So which tribe particularly, I can't tell you, but I can say Southern Kingdom. I can say that. Yeah.
Shalom, Deacon Leadership. Most High Christ bless you all. I was wondering, would it be possible to devise a project to have these books digitalized? And circulated to other schools so we can have access to reading this history as well?
That's fine. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. Be my guest. That's what I want to do. No problem. Digitizing the books.
There's two Bantu tribes that are ethnic minority in Somalia. The Jariwin or Gosha.
Yeah, you go. Gosha, which sounds like Goshen.
They're ethnic minority in Somalia.
So the ethnic minority, remember Deuteronomy 4:27, you shall be found few in number among nations which I will scatter you. So you have two Bantus, what they call?
The Jariwin or
Jariwins or Gosha. So that's probably us over there in Somalia. The Bantus that are there. The Semitic Somalis, not the Nilotic ones. All right? Now give me... So we got Northern Kingdom being Scythians, called Gentile names, titles. Give me History of Description of Africa, Volume 3. History and Description of Africa, Volume 3. And I want page 1013.
Can I get a script too?
What you got?
Matthew 18, verse 17.
Sure, yeah.
To show that the reason the Southern Kingdom was not dealing with the Northern Kingdom, they were considered Gentiles, heathen. Even Christ adds some verification to this stance. Read.
What verse again?
17.
Matthew chapter 18 and verse 17. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican.
So that's what was going on. There was a split in the kingdom. So the Northern Kingdom, they weren't listening to Judah no more. They weren't listening to the Lord. So what were they considered? Heathen.
Mm-hmm.
They were Gentiles.
Exiles.
So Christ himself is telling you there's a way we treat the heathen. They're not the same as us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what was going on with the Northern Kingdom at the time.
Right.
Hey, also, that's why in the earlier verses, he's telling you, he's really going into Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. He says, if your brother offend against thee.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he's talking
There was an offense, and at this time, there was a reconciliation going on where Northern Kingdom was actually listening.
Yeah.
So, let your brother in. He's actually listening to you. If he don't listen to you, then let him be. Let him continue to be a heathen. Then treat him as a heathen.
Right. So this book here, The History and Description of Africa and the Notable Things Therein Contained, the Volume 3 of 3, by Leo Africanus, a brother of ours who was a very, very popular and well-known cartographer. Esau borrowed many of his writings to substantiate the settlements of Jews found throughout Africa. They borrowed from him. So we want page 1013. Read, let me see. Yeah, read there. Yep. But now let us pass.
But now let us pass to the Tartars.
Tartars or Tartary is like Black Sea, Caspian Sea, Russia, Europe. Tartary. They call it Tartary or Scythia. Tartary. Same area. Come on.
These, as otherwise we declared, descended of the 10 tribes of Israel.
Read it again.
These, as otherwise we declared, descended of the 10 tribes of Israel.
So these Tartars descended of the 10 tribes of Israel. Come on.
Being transported by the order and commission of Shalmaneser, king of the Assyrians, beyond India.
Beyond India. Go ahead.
Into the land of Arsarith.
The land of Arsarith. Now they say Arsarith is somewhere else. Arsarith is the Americas. But go ahead.
Here, degenerating into rude and barbarous customs.
Like over here in Americas, did the same thing. Go ahead.
And forgetting in a great part or altogether the Mosaical ceremonies, they hardly retained circumcision.
Northern Kingdom is prone to falling into idolatry, but they are referred to as Tartars. Tartars. Let me see. Read that.
They came out of this their banishment in the year of our Lord 1200.
Come on.
And in a small time.
In a small time, watch this.
With the ruin of infinite nations, made themselves terrible to all the east and no less to the north.
We were very, very formidable. Even in our exile, we were a problem. That's all I want. That's going to play a very important part later on regarding history. So they were called Tartars, Scythians, Tartars, or Tartary. That's like Russia, Iran. It's the same area. Tartary, same place. Scythia, same thing. Get me the geographic description of the 4 parts. This was published in 1670, this book. You got something too, right, Jazz? You got something earlier you want to show me about Scythians? You had a book too, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me read this first, and then we get that one. Here we go. A description of the 4 parts by, let me see, here we go. A geographical description of the 4 parts of the world. The world's divided into 4 parts. The 4th part of the world is America. Taking it from the notes and works of Monsieur Sanson, geographer to the French king and other eminent travelers and authors, blah, 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 blah. The whole illustrated variety of blah, 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 useful, doubtful, blah, blah, by Richard Blome. Go down to the year of the book, 1670. This book is over 300 years old. We have 2 of them. Now, go to page 88 now. Remember earlier about the Tartars. 88, go down. Let me see.
You can't read that?
You got to blow it up. Bring it back. Bring it back.
You can read that, man. You be all right.
Let me see. I'll help you with this. I know it's hard to read. Yeah. Go over to, let me see. Go up. Go over to the right. Go down.
Nah, yeah, you
go
got
down,
that.
Down. Go to the next page.
Pray for me.
Right there. Load up. Hold on. Got the wrong damn pages? Hold on. 87. I don't want 87 anyway. You get 88 again? Load up. Let me see something. Go down. I got the wrong damn pages. I think it was 98, 99. Let me see a book real quick. Let me see the book. I'm glad I brought it. Let me see it. When y'all say something, talk while I figure this out. The hell is this?
Hey, grab them pages I just posted real quick. Not the one about the Scythians. Well, this is about the Scythians. This is land backing off what that brother asked
read that
about.
book and let me see what the hell this is.
Asking about the Native Americans. Are the Native Americans and the Scythians the same? So
let me see what's going on with this book here.
Not that.
Let me see what's going on.
Oh, wait, I didn't post it up on the group yet, did I? All right, hold on. One second.
Yeah, I'm going to post the...
But go ahead. If somebody else got something until I put these on the group.
No. This is 88. Damn. This is 88. Go back and see. Damn, this thing's written so crazy I can't even see it. Let me go to the page itself. This damn handwriting is terrible, man.
Hold on, brothers.
Hold on.
I'm posting the link.
Yeah, me a minute. I'm going to read this thing, man. This is good stuff here. I want to show it to y'all. 88.
All right. Pull those up while Deacon looking for that. Come on. Real quick.
Is it 88.
Hey, so for the brother, I don't know if it's the last question, but he asks about the Native Americans, Gad on this side of the world, and the Scythians, were they the same people? So this book is called History of Ancient America. So it's going to prove that they were the same, all right? Same customs and so forth. Hey, start at, did I send you a page before that? Page 16? It should be 3 pages. 17, 18. All right, read that. Start at the above singular fact. Down at the bottom, right here.
The above singular fact enables us at once to place them in a chronological position. It must be after Moses, but before the Savior. But another fact brings their circle of time still narrower, viz., they have no tradition of the destruction of the first temple of Jerusalem. This event occurred 588 years before Christ. It must therefore be anterior to that national calamity that they trace their origin. Of this, hereafter, when in the next volume the history of the Israelites will be given, but even now, justice to this race compels us to offer a few words in their defense as a people, for being already sufficiently shown that,
go ahead,
they are of the great Hebrew family.
So this is going into Gad, the North American Indians. So they know that they are Israelites, right? So go ahead.
They may fall in the estimation of some readers upon religious principles. It has been shown that they have no tradition of the crucifixion.
Why? Because they came over here during the Persian captivity. So they have no tradition of the crucifixion of Christ, right? Down on the cross. Go ahead.
Or of the desolation of the temple.
So they don't have no knowledge of 70 A.D. Read.
Is there no sentiment in the mind of the Christian reader as the first fact is unfolded, other than that of historical data? Upon a moment's thought, it must be apparent that the blood of Christ cannot be upon them or their children.
Read.
Their ancestors never shouted in the streets of Jerusalem.
Why? They was on this side of the world. Go ahead.
Crucify him. Crucify him. The Aborigines of the north are Israelites.
Oh, what?
Israelites.
Read.
And of the house of Jeroboam.
So the scholars know that they came from the house of Jeroboam, the 10 tribes. Go ahead.
Not Jews, i.e. of the house of Judah. A distinction of all importance, as the pages of the subsequent volume will prove.
Now, this is the part I want. I read all that to get to this. Go ahead.
The custom of scalping.
So the custom of scalping, because that's what in war, okay, Gad, what they did was after they killed their enemies, they scalped them, right? Read. It was like a trophy. Read.
Cannot be said with truth to be original with the northern native.
So they saying that scalping didn't originate over here in North America with Gad. Go ahead.
It has, however, been so asserted as proof that they are more modern as a people than this theory would establish.
Read.
But the declaration melts into thin air, from the fact that both Herodotus and Polybius mention scalping as being practiced among the most ancient nations of the world.
So they're saying that scalping is an old custom, right? Read.
The assertion, therefore, has only brought forward its refutation. Scalping was introduced originally by the ancients for the express purpose of counting and recording the number of the foe slain in battle.
Right. So it's like you marking yourself like that's how many bodies I got on me, as they say today. Read.
And especially was this custom practiced by the Scythians.
You see that? So they linked they linked Gad and the Scythians because why? We had the same customs as far as scalping. So the Scythians, it originated from them, which is Israelites, and then we brought it over to this side of the world as well. So that's something that we both did. Go ahead. That Gad did and Northern Kingdom did as Scythians on the other side. Go ahead.
This is established upon the authority of the accurate Herodotus.
That's all I want. So letting you know, the scholars know that we the same people.
Right. So just to answer a couple of questions, I don't normally answer questions in the text like this. I'm just gonna be nice this time. Y'all asked about, someone said that the Somalians are from Put. It's possible because the Sabians are a mixture of both the Arabs and Hamites, so it's a possibility. Or Eskimo Northern Kingdom, some of them, yes. Depends on which tribe you're referring to. And you asked about people in Gabon, Jasper Yanga, who was who led a revolt, built the African city in Mexico. Jasper Yanga was the Gabonese prince. So yes, the answer to this is yes. We are in Gabon. Many slaves are sold from Gabon. Yes. And what else? The Talmud is garbage. It was a Babylonian ideology that was introduced into Judaism during the time when Christ came around. When Christ was doing the Pharisees, they were teaching traditions that came from the Talmud, which is against the laws of Moses. So it's garbage. In any capacity, is it important to learn? Not at all. It's garbage. All right. What else? And that should be that. All right. Now let's get back to work. Got what I wanted, y'all? Yes, sir. Put it up there. This is what I wanted. Page 88. The book is divided into different portions. So it's page 88 of Tartary. So Tartary. Remember we read earlier about the Tartars being the lost 10 tribes. Read that here. The highlighted part. Others.
Others take it from the word Tartar or Tartar.
Tartar. Come on.
Which in the
Syriac,
Syriac signifies.
Syriac is a dialect of Aramaic. It's a dialect of Aramaic. Not Aramaic itself, but a dialect of it. Spoke about the Assyrians. The Syriac signifies what?
Or forefathers.
Signifies remnant or forsaken.
Or forsaken.
It signifies remnant or forsaken. That's what Tartar means in Syriac.
Because
remnant or forsaken. Come on.
Because they esteemed them the remnant of the Jews.
There you go. Come on.
Of which 10 tribes were
transported
into Media by Salmanassar.
Watch.
They must then add that these 10 tribes passed from Media into Scythia.
Go ahead.
Which is not observed
by the ancients. Go down there. The people.
The people
which possess
this country differs something from one another, as well in personage, as in religion and manners.
Go down to the next page. Go to the next page. Watch. Read that right here. Watch this.
In matters of religion, they are generally pagans.
Northern Kingdom, generally pagans.
And Mohammedans.
And they embrace Islam. Come on.
Which about the year 1246 crept in amongst them.
Come on.
Which since hath spread itself over their country, and intermixing with paganism, yet hath it not so much prevailed as to extinguish Christianity, which was first planted amongst the Scythians.
Christianity was first planted among the Scythians. Remember Colossians 3:11? Watch this.
Which were the ancient people of Tartary.
Which were the ancient people of Tartary. Watch this.
By the preaching of 2 of the apostles.
Who went there and taught them?
St. Philip.
Philip went there.
And St. Andrew.
Andrew went there. Go ahead.
Which of latter years have much lost itself.
They forgot their teachings. Go ahead.
And not only by the prevailing of the
Nestorian, your brother mentioned earlier, the Nestorian teaching came over there, Nestorian sect. Go ahead.
But chiefly for want of introducing the people in the true orthodoxal points of Christian religion.
So they followed a pagan form of Christianity, which is Nestorianism. So, but Andrew and Philip went out there and taught the Scythians. Why? Because those are the Israelites, Northern Kingdom, that were brought there during Shalmaneser's time. Northern Kingdom. Philip's ministry was to go out and teach the scattered abroad, like Paul. Okay? So the Tartars or the Scythians, or sect of them, were Northern Kingdom. That Paul wrote about in Colossians 3:11. Now, get me Israel Redivivus. Israel Redivivus, page 49. This book was published
1905.
1905. Oldie but a goodie. I don't know what Nubian King's talking about. It says the Bible left out 22 books which are in the coming forth by day and night. Some of y'all, I don't know, man. I be talking crazy on here. Ooh. Read that. It will what?
It will, of course, be argued by those who hold the call of the Gentiles theory that these Greeks were Gentiles to whom the gospel was thus early preached and who became Christians.
Mm-hmm.
It has, however, already been shown that this is quite antithetical to the manner in which the Greeks and Gentiles respectively are referred to in the Acts of the Apostles.
The author is saying that this breakdown is going to destroy the Christian belief that these Gentiles or Greeks or other nations, as opposed to being Israelites. Read on.
And in the epistles.
In Paul's letters.
And it is inconsistent with the general tenor of the New Testament to come to any different conclusion than that the Greeks or rather perhaps the upper classes of those who at that time went by the name of Greeks.
Remember the last book? They took on the Greek customs, Greek names, prayed in Greek language. These are Jews. Watch.
Were other than descendants of some at least of the
Lost 10 tribes. You see that? That's who Paul was dealing with. Hosea 1 prophecy. Not my people, not your God, no mercy. That's who Paul and Andrew and Philip went to teach. Northern Kingdom, the lost 10 tribes who fell under Greek names and customs. Read on.
How they came to be in possession of Greece, and where others of the same race were located will, it is hoped, be satisfactorily explained historically in the following pages.
Well, hold on. Give me a page. What page is that? Page 50 next.
It's coming from the white man, so maybe y'all believe it now.
Yeah, okay. Get page 191. Read that. Watch this.
The Scythians.
Hold on. We got to go through this real slow. For some of y'all asking a lot of questions, you ain't paying attention. I know it's that much. I'll be asking a lot of questions outside the topic as opposed to the topic. Then you ask questions that I answered last week that you ain't answering, you ain't paying attention. So, hold on.
They ask questions about this next week.
Yeah. So, read that.
The Scythians.
The Scythians, so we already established. The Scythians were the remnant of the northern kingdom that were placed in the lands of the Medes, Bukhara, the Iranian areas, Russia, the Tartary, okay? The Scythians that Paul wrote to, Colossians 3:11. Andrew went to them, Philip went to them. Read on to what?
The Scythians.
Getae. Stop there. That name is very vital. Scythians and the Getae. Now, whether it's get or Getae, I don't know. I don't care. But that's another term. Scythians, Getae, the Get, and the Thracians and Goths. Read.
Having thus been traced to one common origin.
These titles, these names, go back to one common origin. Scythians, Get, Thracians, and Goths. Now, Thracia is the area of Greece. Remember we read earlier, the Northern Kingdom took areas of the Greece over.
That's where Spartacus is from.
Spartacus is from there. I'm going to get to him in a minute. He's a Thracian. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Scythians, Get, Thracians, and Goths. Go ahead.
Having thus been traced to one common origin.
Come on.
Or as being rather different names for the same people.
Different names for the same people. Watch.
There can be no reasonable doubt but that these represented the descendants of the 10 tribes who had escaped from the Assyrian captivity.
Damn.
Man, you got to read that with more conviction.
Damn. He's like,
yeah, monotone. What's up?
Read on.
It has also been seen that some of these migrated into Asia Minor.
Migrated where?
Into Asia Minor.
That's who Paul was teaching. That was Paul's main ministry in that area, Asia Minor. Read on.
And thus joined the Greco Israelites in their colonies there.
Greek-speaking Israelites. So the Scythians, the Gets, the Thracians, and Goths were all northern kingdom that Paul and the apostles in them were reaching out to throughout Paul's letters. Now, this book here, the author of this book is a supporter of what they say British Israelism.
Right. Yep.
However, scholars that predate British Israelism support British Israelism thousands of years before. And the Brits that are Israelites were not white folks. They're black folks.
Bring it out.
So it don't really make a difference. British Israelism supports that we were ruling the Dark Ages, not white folks. Those are New World Anglo-Saxons. We were the Old World Anglo-Saxons. I'm going to deal with that also. Now, so go back to that again, that page again. So the Scythians, Get, Thracians, and Goths were all descendants of the lost 10 tribes, or were the Greco Israelites of Asia Minor that Paul was writing to. Hope y'all are paying close attention. Close attention. Now, get me the origin of the Anglo-Saxon race. I want page 49. Now you gotta keep in mind that the Scythians are an important factor to building the case leading into Europe and England and kings, because it all starts with them. The Carthaginians, it all starts with them. The Moors, the Jews fled into Spain and Portugal, Britain, France, South France, you mentioned earlier, it all stems from that. Those massive migrations. Page 49, read that.
The Jutes, Goths, and Northmen.
The Jutes. Remember that last book? Goths and Northmen. Read on.
The Jutes, who according to the English chroniclers were one of the three nations by which England was settled.
Remember, y'all, I'm leading eventually to King James. I have not lost my thought. I have not lost the path. I'm just taking y'all the long way to King James. So I want y'all to understand that these are all black kings. Okay, read on.
Are but little mentioned under that name by early historians of Northern Europe.
Come on.
Bede calls them Jutes.
Go ahead.
So that we may conclude that at the end of the 7th century, this was the name by which these people were known in England.
7th century is around 800s. Go ahead.
In early records relating to Germany and the North, they appear to have been called by many names.
Somebody asked, what about the Jutes? I'm gonna show you who the Jutes are in a minute. Keep going.
Vitungi or Jathungi, Jute, Getz, Gothi.
Wait. Go back to it again. It says in early records what?
In early records relating to Germany and the North.
Come on.
They appear to have been called by many names.
Vitungi.
Or Jathungi.
The Jathungi. Go ahead.
Jute. Getz.
Up. There go that word again. Getz. Remember earlier? We read earlier. That go back to the Lost 10. The Getz. Go ahead.
Gothi.
The Goths. Thracians, Goths, Scythians. Same people. Go ahead.
Gothini.
Gothini.
Guthonis.
Guthones is Goths.
Guthone.
Not to be confused with Visigoths. Visigoths is Edom. Goths is us. Read on.
Gute.
Gut.
Galt.
Vite.
Vit. And Geta.
Geta. Come on. Keep that name in mind. Keep that Geta. That name Geta in mind. I mean, listen, audience. The name Get or Geta. Keep it in mind. You read earlier in the last book, it go back to all the same name. Thracians, Goths, Scythians, Geta. Same people. The Jutes were under the same name. Read on.
The name Geet, they derived from Geet, a mythological ancestor of Woden.
So they deified themselves under the god Odin. We're Odin's children, which goes back to our god regardless. But go ahead.
According to the West Saxon genealogy.
Go ahead.
And Asser tells us that Geet was worshipped as a god.
Right. So they deified Geet. We might deal with who Get is later on, who Get is. Let me see. Read on. Let's read on.
Tacitus mentions Goths.
Tacitus. That's before British Israelism. Tacitus. Go ahead.
Mentions Goths under the name Guthones and states that they occupied the country east of the Vistula. He says also that the Gutai lived in the island of Scandia, and we may identify the locality with the Swedish province of Gothland.
Swedish province of Gothland. Swedish. Keep that in mind too. Swedish. Go ahead.
The people around the Gulf of Riga at the present day, including the Livonians, are partly of Teutonic origin.
Keep Teutonic in mind too. Teutonic. Go ahead.
And may in part be descendants.
That's what I want. So Goths, Gete. Be done. Descendants of what?
Of descendants of those ancient Gothic people who are known to have lived east of the Vistula.
Ancient Gothic people. Read the next one.
The Jutes, who settled in England, had much in common with the Frisians. So also had the Goths.
Because they're all the same people. Jutes, Frisians, Goths, the same people. That's all I really want. Let me see where we at. What page is that? 50? 51? Go to let me see. Go to 1 Maccabees 1:41. You got Banner of Israel? Banner of Israel, page 151. I think y'all should have that. think I pulled it up last time. I need that too. Banner of Israel. First Maccabees 141.
First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41.
This goes back to them being called Greco Israelites or taking on Hellenism. Read that.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Many of the Israelites consented to becoming Greeks as well. Go ahead.
And sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
Come on.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Pollute the people, come on.
Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
Come on.
To the end they might forget the law.
I mean, forget their nationality, forget their culture, forget their heritage. Go ahead.
And change all the ordinances.
And become Greek. It's Second Maccabees 6 and 6. Same history, different explanation. Second Maccabees 6 and 6. Read verse 1 and then verse 6.
Second Maccabees 6 verse 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers.
Read it earlier. Same exact thing again. Read on.
And not to live after the laws of God.
Right. Live after the Greeks, not after the laws of God. Come on.
Verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
Come on.
Or ancient feasts.
Come on.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So what did we become? We became Greeks. Greco Israelites. Greco Israelites. During the time of the Greeks, we became Greeks. So Paul was writing to the Greeks and Gentiles in the New Testament. That's who he was writing to. Many of southern and northern kingdom who reverted to the Greek customs, gave their children Greek names, took on the Greek culture, Greek language. That's who Paul was writing to. Now, Banner of Israel, read that, please. This is page 151 or 153. Read that, please.
So, whatever intermixture of races, certain, when we remember the scattering of Israel.
The scattering of Israel, the diaspora, come on.
May be found in Britain.
Found where?
In Britain.
Found, I told you, I'm taking you out a scenic route. It says, found in Britain, come on.
Whatever rifts and remnants of...
Rifts, like the Tartars. Rifts and remnants, go ahead,
of Israel may be found in different parts.
Watch.
It must be true that Britain...
Now where?
Britain.
Britain, like the Jutes in them. Britain, go ahead.
And her colonies contain the bulk of Ephraim.
Who?
The bulk of Ephraim.
Contain the bulk of Ephraim.
Dang.
In those areas. Go ahead.
And the tribes of Israel, his fellows.
The northern kingdom, the rest of them, remnants of the northern kingdom, come on. Because the bulk came in this side of the world. But the remnants of them that remain on the other side of the world migrated into Britain based upon their travels to Solomon and so forth and their exiles. Read on.
So that when we hear it.
And being exiles. Read on.
So that when we hear it said that there is in the gale of the British Isles.
There is in the gale of the British Isles. Go ahead.
And also of the continent. We need not believe that this is in favor of the Teutonic theory.
Remember the Teutons, the last book. I told you, remember that? Teutons. Go ahead.
For the Gaelic race.
The Gaelic race, come on.
Which evidently came into Europe.
From where?
From Galilee.
From Galilee. Go ahead.
And the adjacent land.
Israel, come on.
Contain many Shemitic people other than Hebrew. And surely the gatherer of Israel.
God.
Knows his chosen race from another.
Come on.
And has brought to pass that which he ordained in the past.
We be scattered all over the world. Come on.
That the Gaelic race.
The Gaelic race.
Contains some of scattered Israel.
Watch.
Is proved by St. Paul's epistle
to the Galatians. Go ahead.
Who it can be seen are Israelites.
The Galatians are Israelites. Boom. Read on.
And we know from history that these Galatians have been in the west of Europe under the name of Gauls
or
perhaps Cimbri. which after all is one and the same thing.
So that's who Paul was writing to in the Galatians, Northern Kingdom. Kimri goes back to the name Omri. Omri goes back to Ahab. Ahab goes back to the king of Northern Kingdom. Northern Kingdom. Northern Kingdom. Whew. Now, go to Judea, Trembles under Rome by Rudolph R. Windsor. I want page 21. We mentioned the Thracians, the Goths, the Get, and the Scythians being all one and the same. All being one and the same. I want page 21. Read that. This is a book by Rudolph R. Windsor. Hard to find, but I have it. It's called Judea, Trembles under Rome by Rudolph R. Windsor. Read that. He wrote Babylon Timbuktu as well. This is a good book also.
Full-scale rebellion in Judea. A number of successive events were operating in Judea which contributed to the rebellion. 1, the constant attacks of Greek troops.
Greeks.
2, the sale of the people into slavery. 3, the forcing of the Judeans to fight to the death as gladiators.
They made us fight to the death as gladiators in Greece and in Rome. Come on.
4, the Greek urging of people to participate nude in the Greek Olympic Games in the site of the temple in Jerusalem.
Right, we made us Antiochians. We became Antiochians or Greeks. Go ahead.
5, the increasing number of Judeans, apostates, and heretics called Hellenists who sided with the Greeks.
We converted, we embraced Greek culture, became Hellenists. Come on.
6, the Greek abolition of the law of Moses.
They forbade us from keeping God's laws. Go ahead.
And the substitution of idol god worship with the sacrifice of unclean animals.
Zeus or Jupiter on the Romans. Go ahead.
All these factors were operating concomitantly to bring the rebellion to the boiling point.
Come on.
The Greek Syrian commander came to the town of Modin, less than 10 miles north of Jerusalem.
To Mattathias, come on.
And proclaimed to Judeans to forsake the law of Moses and become idolaters. Mattathias and his 5 sons, the most famous was Judah Maccabee, refused to obey the Greeks. He yelled with a loud voice, "Whoever is zealous for the law and whoever wishes to support the covenant, follow me."
So that's what ended up happening. That was the Maccabean revolt. Now go to page 117, please. 117. I mentioned the Thracians. Now blow it up. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. Right there. Read that. Move it over. Right there. Right there. This picture was taken from the book Spartacus by Herod Fast. It was printed in Hebrew in Tel Aviv in 1954. This is a sculpture or picture of Spartacus. You watch the show Spartacus, that's how he looked. Go down. Read what it says there.
Spartacus, this African rebel leader, led a slave revolt against the Roman Empire.
Come on.
After killing many Romans, Spartacus and his men were captured and crucified by the Roman praetor Licinius Crassus in 71 BC.
When the stupid-ass Crixus went against them. So this is a Thracian. He was a Thracian gladiator. They had the Israelites fight in the arenas. Spartacus was an Israelite too. A Thracian Israelite. That's how he looked. See the nose, lips, got a damn afro. There's no white man there.
Right.
None. There's straight Negro. That's Negro there. Face all angry. You know that's a Negro. That's Spartacus there. That's how he's depicted. All right? In Tel Aviv, these people know who we are. They know who we are, know who we were, and know what we look like.
His rebellion came about during the Hasmonean.
Yes, right. During the Hasmonean, right.
While the Maccabees were fighting, he rose up.
He rose up, yeah. It probably inspired him. Yes. All right? That's Spartacus the Thracian, black man there. Now, get me James 1:1. James 1:1. To wrap it up soon. I was going to pull these 3 scripts and we can wrap it up.
James chapter 1 and verse 1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greeting.
To the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greeting. Israel is scattered abroad. Give me 1 Peter 1:1 regarding, again, us being called different names. Give me Deuteronomy 28, give me that first. Deuteronomy 28, verse 37 first. Then give me 1 Peter 1:1. This goes back to the northern kingdom being not his people. He's no longer their God. Deuteronomy 28, verse 37.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 37.
This is the call to the curses. Read that.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a
A
byword.
byword is a byname, a name called outside your own biblical name. Byword, Scythian, Thracian, Goth, Get, Greek, Roman, Gentile. The list goes on and on. Gaelic. The list goes on. Tartar. Barbarian. The list goes on. Afro-American, African-American, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Liberian, Ghanaian, Native American, the Mexican. The list goes on and on. Kenyan. Read on.
Among all nations.
Ethiopian. Go ahead.
Among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
Among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead you. So we will be called different names throughout the lands in which we be scattered. Now, go to 1 Peter 1:1.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Jesus Christ.
So these strangers that are scattered is the same exact 12 tribes in James 1:1. Peter referred to them as strangers. Read verse 2.
Verse 2. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead.
Let me see something. 1 Peter 1.
Yes.
You read verse 3.
You read verse 3. Read verse 2.
Oh, sorry, I read verse 2 already, actually.
Read verse 2 again.
Yes, sir. Elect according to the foreknowledge of God.
So these strangers scattered abroad are the elect according to the foreknowledge of God. Who are the elect according to the foreknowledge or past knowledge of God? Isaiah 45:4. Who are the elect he's referring to? Who are the elect that these strangers here are referred to as? Isaiah 45:4.
Isaiah chapter 45, verse 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect.
Israel mine elect, according to the foreknowledge of God. These strangers scattered are the same 12 tribes in James. They are the elect of Israel. That's who he is talking to. According to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Jesus Christ, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. Now, we're going to stop there. Lord's will, tomorrow we are going to officially enter into the Dark Ages magnified. Dark Ages magnified. We've made it. Lord's will, we're going to start jumping into that now, so I might as well just start it off. We are in the introduction of the Dark Ages magnified. So Lord's will, hope you guys buckle your seatbelts, prepare for the ride. It's going to be a long ride and very difficult and aggravating for me, because going into the Dark Ages and the scriptures is going to be very, very difficult, because the Dark Ages is so far from the Bible. It's darkness.
We're going to make weight.
We got to add light, because there's no darkness. There's no wisdom at all in the Dark Ages, all right? So Lord's will, pray for us. Pray we get through it. I'm trying to make our way to King James. I'm trying to go as slow as possible, because I'm just trying to get to it already, but I know I can't do that to y'all. So just bear with me. I'm gonna get to King James. I'm taking the scenic route, the long route. Y'all stay tuned. All right. We're gonna stop there. It's 3:35. I don't go over my time. So shout outs to the breakfast team, and shout outs to IT. I did an excellent job today. Excellent job. My fault for not having the right pages, but we got through it. All praises. So Lord's will next week, we will start jumping into the history of the Dark Ages, us ruling, getting into Britain. I'm into that, the Lost Tribe, Northern Kingdom going to Britain first, and Judah going afterwards. The Jutes, we're going to go into that. Bring more of that, go more into that. Who the Jutes are, where that name comes from, things to that. So stay tuned with us. So I pray to the Most High. announcements. Don't forget to donate. Booster Club. Okay, follow the. You know, I don't know where it is. Just there you go. Thank you. There you go, right there. Just donate. Thank you for your contributions, your support. We appreciate you. You know where the funds go. So please continue to help and support us. All right, all praise to the Most High. With that, we say shalom. We're done. Announcements.
Hey, Israel, let's give it up for the leadership for that class again. Fire. A lot of good information we heard, all right? Israel, make sure you subscribe to Our Hidden History Radio on YouTube, all right? Hit the notification button so you know when we go live. Also, subscribe to our Philly channels, IUIC Philadelphia and IUIC Philadelphia in the Classroom, to get the latest content from the deacon, captain, and officers of IUIC Philly. You can donate to Our Hidden History on PayPal too, iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. In the comment section, put OHH. Also, donate to the Booster Club. Y'all see we completed 30 missions for Passover. All praise the Most High. That's only done through your support, all right? So send your donations on PayPal too, iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. And last but not least, subscribe to IUIC TV to get exclusive content from the leadership of IUIC. Next. Missing persons, we have James Millhouse, 68 years old, African-American, hair color black, eye color brown, 5'10", 206 pounds. James was last seen on January 2nd, 2025. He was last seen wearing a navy blue sweatshirt, black slippers, and a navy blue hat. So if you do know of his whereabouts, let the local authorities know. Land fund. We are going to get that land. We got the land blitz coming up, all right? So send your donations in now. You can send it on PayPal to Israel@israelunite.org. In the comment section, put land. Next. And lastly, we're seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. So pull out your phone. You hit that QR code. IT did pretty good today,
Hey,
but
look, the best way we could enhance the broadcast is by removing Manny.
I was going to say the exact
Wow.
same.
Damn.
You know what? That was the spirit. You know, all praises. Your feedback has been coming in, and I've seen that y'all said Manny is the problem. So we removed the problem, and we got the solution. All praises. No, all praises. Little will Manny get better.
Wow, y'all are two.
That took a turn,
y'all
man.
Are terrible people, man.
That was the Lord right there.
Hey,
All
the Lord made him sick, so the Lord's on our side.
All right. Anyways, shout out to Manny, man. Feel better, bro. Jeez, redeem yourself from the cursings of your brothers. Anyways, all praise to the Most High. Hopefully, Lord's will, we're going to get into it, man. I'm excited for next week. A lot more than y'all. Trust me, because I've been trying to touch on King James history for a very, very, very long time. And I've been talking about it for a long time, so to actually be involved in it and be able to go into it is fun. So I'm looking forward to bringing it out for y'all. Hope you guys enjoy it as much as I'll enjoy teaching it. So shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Those will see y'all next week. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless.
Shalom, Most High in Christ bless.